Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'll be continuing the discussion on Bach Flower Essences with Willow. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. When trying to determine which Bach Flower Essence to use, it's necessary to understand the characteristics and symptoms of the essence from a psychological position. This is because the Bach Flower Essences work on the subtle bodies of the human subtly anatomy field. For healing to take place, you need to look at the situation from this different level. So, what are the characteristics of Willow? The Bach Flower Essence of Willow is used for people who are disappointed, bitter, or offended. Willow is used for the basic treatment of bitterness, resentment, a need for revenge, an inability to reconcile, and being at odds with fate. It is used to treat all pathological conditions related to disappointment or bitterness. In daily life, it's used to treat disappointment or feelings offended or slighted. The Willow condition is characterized by a pronounced sense of justice and an intense need for love and happiness. When positively developed, the Willow type can come to terms with the ever-changing circumstances of their life and can take the good with the bad. These people have the ability to accept their defeats, losses, and difficulties, just as they can enjoy their happier aspects of their life. This is a wonderful ability to have, and it's quite rare. In the case of the Willow type, it stems from their finely tuned, incorruptible sense of justice, which is not preoccupied with external factors, but with the truth. It is a justice that seeks what is right, a justice that does not seek personal advantage, but is the expression of an unknowable divine order. It is clear that these people, that things simply are the way they are, and that everything is right and just, whether or not they like or understand it. Stemming from their higher sense of justice, they have learned to accept what life or the Creator has arranged. They are able to react coolly and thoughtfully to the situations that make others angry and bitter. Life for these people is not a dangerous struggle for existence, but a glorious adventure that they face with a wide-eyed innocence and openness. Life becomes a fascinating journey to unknown dimensions, in which conflict, defeats, and losses all serve as signs to mark the way. The positive expression of the Willow type has a clear, strong yearning for happiness. These feelings are very genuine and very real. They have no delusions or expectations, and this spares them from becoming bitter. In their life-affirming attitudes and behavior, the positive Willow type is living proof that there is a higher divine justice that speaks for all of us, including those who are petty or corrupt. When an acceptance of this justice is in evidence, then it becomes impossible to think that we are being treated unfairly, and as a result, we are spared a lot of suffering. When negatively expressed, the Willow type's inborn sense of justice can turn into a sense of self-righteousness that in itself can lead only to injustice. This is what gives the negative expression of the Willow type the feeling that they have been treated unfairly, which causes them to become bitter and resentful and to want revenge. When they react in this way, they demonstrate the fact that they have not learned from the lessons or advice that life has given them. These life lessons simply don't fit into their self-righteous worldview. The Willow type refuses to examine whether their expectations and wishes are truly just, and they feel hurt, offended, bitter, or disappointed as a result. They will sulk and feel resentment, and they will want to get even. The Willow type's unhappiness is also contagious. It often seems that they derive a certain amount of pleasure in drawing others into their negativity and bitterness. The negative Willow type is a miserable companion and becomes a burden on themselves and others. When they are finally able to see they are not always in the right, or that everything is not as bad as they thought, the Willow type will then calm down. As a rule, these people do not learn their lessons, and it is only a matter of time until they suffer the next setback, insult. The Bach Flower Essence of Willow is used for conciliation and forgiveness. It counters the tendency to feel that we have been treated unjustly and the need for revenge. It makes us more conciliatory, understanding, and content. Willow is used for children who get their way through sulking or tantrums, and it is especially suitable for people who cannot accept their fate and who become sick as a result. As long as they maintain this attitude, they will never recover. When dealing with someone who is bitter or sullen, it's important to first ask whether the behavior is genuine. Many people, especially children, will pretend to be hurt in order to have their way. The more successful they are, the more strongly they develop as emotional tyrants who take advantage of the sensitivity, sympathy, or guilt feelings of their parents or companions. This kind of emotional blackmail should not be tolerated because it does no good for anyone involved. The Willow type will learn to act sullen and hurt every time life puts an obstacle in their path. Life, however, does not allow itself to be blackmailed. It gives us the options only of meeting its challenge or dying, or sinking or swimming. We should all learn, especially children, the fundamental lesson that we need to be realistic in our expectations and to be satisfied with what we are given. In training us for life, parents and teachers must make these lessons clear. They must be sure that the word is respected and that the child learns that they can't have everything they want and that there are limits. When a child learns these fundamental lessons, they will be able to deal with life's many disappointments. We must be careful not to let ourselves be blackmailed by strategic sullenness and sulking, but allow our blackmailer to simmer in their own juices for a while until they understand that they can't always have their way, and in the process learns how to readjust their behavior accordingly. When negatively expressed, the positive attitudes and behaviors of the Willow type and their pronounced need for happiness turn into their opposite when their expectations can't be fulfilled. They then become truly disappointed and embittered, injustice and injured and hurt. They become sullen and withdrawn from the world and from other people, or they feel that life has treated them unfairly. The naturally positive, life-affirming energy becomes an equally intense negativity. They become aggressive to everything that stands in their way, in extreme cases against the world or against fate itself. Or if they are more introverted, they will direct their negative energy against themselves in the form of a bitter and disappointed renunciation of the world. In the Willow condition, we should assume that the Willow type, at least subjectively, is justified in their views, and if the condition is serious, make sure to help them. Excessive unyieldingness can run the risk of ongoing psychic damage, especially with children who can be deeply disappointed or injured through incidents that seem meaningless to an observer. In such cases, it's pointless to exert more pressure. You will only be adding fuel to a raging fire. It is better to leave disappointment or embittered people in quiet and try to point out to them in a non-threatening manner that their behavior is leading them to a dead end. People who tend to suffer from disappointment, hurt, and bitterness need to make a fundamental change in their attitude. They need to realize that they are only hurting themselves with their denials and accusations. Life is not concerned with their opinions. They also need to develop a more realistic view that includes the true facts and that takes into account that humans are merely feeble creatures who are dependent on their creator. As long as the Willow type is convinced that someone is taking a personal and intentional interest in their misfortune, they will take it very personally, and it goes straight to their heart. When it is made clear to them that everything that happens is part of a larger scheme, and that everything and everyone, including the Willow type, serves as a tool for an unknowable fate, they will be able to take their misfortune in stride and look at it as just another fateful event. It would also be helpful to get them to make the same demands on themselves that they make on others, since this would allow them to see matters in a gentler and more forgiving light. Some common combinations of Willow with other Bach essences are as follows. Combined with chicory, it helps with bitterness due to rejection and ungratefulness. Combined with holly, it helps with bitterness combined with rage or hate. Combined with honeysuckle, it helps with bitterness due to a loss. Combined with mustard, it helps with depression caused by bitterness. Combined with oak, it helps with a relentless desire for revenge. Combined with Star of Bethlehem, it helps with bitterness caused by an unprocessed or unresolved trauma. Combined with vine, it helps with an embittered domestic tyrant. Combined with water violet, it helps with bitterness due to restricted freedom. Combined with white chestnut, it helps with bitter, obsessive, compulsive thoughts. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, and so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below the video. Take care.